So, for those who was watching, thank you. But for whatever reason, every time I've done Dynamite, tried to do a live stream, it has cut me off and has been removed. Has been removed for violating their terms of service. I don't know what that consists of, but I do know that I will have to, once again, contact YouTube. So, for the foreseeable future, my AEW Dynamite reviews will be uploaded every night after the show, probably around 10:30. Just so that way I know from here on in at 10:30 p.m. every Wednesday night, I will have that live, or I'll have that. And then my NXT reviews will be on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. So, I will once again go over all my house business that I had to talk about before I get into this review. So, as everyone knows, I am packing, I have been moving, and with that, I've been unable to do some of my reviews. I did miss Monday. I was late getting my NXT TakeOver in Your House review up because of the fact that I was packing. I came home, I recorded it, I got it uploaded today, but I tried to use my hotspot. That didn't work. But I do have my Wi-Fi hooked up today. Got the 5G network, so things are working really well, minus whatever that issue was. So either way, I want to thank everyone for the patience over the weekend. I want to thank my girlfriend for the patience over the weekend. So things are back to normal. Dynamite tonight, NXT tomorrow morning. Friday will be SmackDown. Saturday, probably sometime in the afternoon, I will do Squared Circle episode 6 for the preview and predictions for Backlash, which is this Sunday, which I will also review most likely live. So all that to come. Monday Night Raw this coming week. Next weekend, I'm not sure how Friday Night SmackDown will work. I will not be home next weekend. I will be gone, so I may not be doing SmackDown next week because I will be visiting with my children for Father's Day next weekend. I believe that's next weekend, whatever the weekend of the 21st is. I will not be home, so I may be doing SmackDown from the hotel, or I may just end up just not doing it at all. So, house business taken care of. That means this is your review for All Elite Wrestling's Dynamite on TNT. Of course, I am Zach, your host here on the Yo Bro Nation YouTube channel. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. What a show. Dynamite was a really good show. I did not enjoy it as much as I did last week's Dynamite, but nevertheless, it was still a really good show with a lot of good little packages to kind of keep some people in the limelight and build intrigue on what they're actually doing with certain characters. So it's got me interested. It's got me excited about what's going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into this review. I'm not going to waste your guys' time. I've been, as you guys noticed, I've been trying shorter reviews on the channel, and I think it's worked. I want to thank everyone. If you guys want to, I want to thank everyone who went in and did watched my SmackDown review this past week. Good numbers for the channel, actually, 120 plus videos as of this moment. So thank you guys very, very much for joining me and everything this past week on that. I want to keep it going. I want to keep the channel growing, keep the positivity going. So yeah, this is your Dynamite review for June 10th, 2020. Of course, Daily's Place in Jacksonville is the host and will be for the future. Got me a drink before I really get into this. Dynamite, of course, had Chris Jericho on commentary for the most of it. All I can say about Chris Jericho is that Chris Jericho is phenomenal. Chris Jericho and what he does is just great. Honest to God, he's great. This was the first time I actually got to sit and listen to Jericho on commentary because I wasn't getting to see the shows before this week. So, well, not before this week, but before they stopped taping, I wasn't seeing Dynamite. I just wasn't interested in watching a bunch of taped shows. I was seeing it with WWE. So that's how we kicked off the AEW tonight with Chris Jericho coming out to join us on commentary. Butcher and the Blade versus FTR. This, of course, is FTR's first matchup on AEW. And I will say right out the gate, no ring rust. No ring rust. These guys looked just as good as they did when they were still in WWE as the Revival. Of course, Dash and Dawson are now Dax and Cash. Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler. In case you guys don't know, Cash Wheeler was, you guys should know. Just look it up, okay? So we see Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Sean Spears, and then we see Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts in the crowd watching, taking notes, watching FTR. Of course, that's what this is a bit built around, is people taking notes to see what they're like. Of course, because Arn Anderson is the coach of the Nightmare family, the Natural Nightmares, whatever the fuck they're going to be called, which I'll have something to say in a minute. But Dax and Cash, of course, like I said, still a great team. Really, really did show the teamwork that made them what we loved. I'm having trouble, of course. The team that we loved in WWE. Jericho on commentary, putting them over about being old school and how they're not doing the flippy dippities and all that other stuff. You get some FTR chants. You see a lot of great tag team work, a lot of tags and frequent tags and good double team moves in the corner, just kind of wearing down their opponents. Butcher and Cash, of course, are in the ring. Cash does a leapfrog into a nice drop kick. Feigns an injury, allowing him to roll Butcher up for a schoolboy for only a 2 count. They double team Cash in the corner, slowing down the pace. Cash does get worked over, but he does get a hot tag after a nice, beautiful power slam off of the ropes. Cash gets, Dax comes in, he's on fire, some back and forth. You guys get a tussle in the corner, then a huge superplex, then to an elbow drop by Cash. That goes for a 2 count. The Blade with a real big knee to Cash right in his face. You get some more back and forth, then a Goodnight Express. You guys would probably know it as the Shatter Machine. Goodnight Express on Butcher. Then they hit a Mindbreaker, which is the spike pile driver, onto the Blade for the 1, 2, 3, allowing them to win. After the match, Tony Schiavone interviews them. They say that, this is what they came here for. They're now the pinnacle of tag team wrestling. Young Bucks come out, say that they want to congratulate them. Also wanted to thank them for helping them out in their little pickle that they were in a couple weeks ago. But they said they never got to be properly introduced, and well, they'd like to do that now. Of course, they introduced themselves as Matt and Nick, the guys who've been carrying the tag team division in all of wrestling for 10.5 years, that they are the Young Bucks. They go to shake hands. Then Butcher and Blade get back in the ring. They attack. Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc attack them. Of course, then Kenny Omega and Adam Page come out. They help them out. Then there's this big stare down. You see it in the thumbnail of the tag champs, the Young Bucks, FTR, all having a nice stare down. The match, I loved this match. It was, and not because of Butcher and the Blade, who I'm not saying are a bad team. They're clearly not, they're not on the level of FTR. But, man, just to see FTR in the ring with no restrictions on them, seeing them like they were in their glory days of NXT again, was awesome. It was something I wanted, and I'm happy I got to see. This was, like I said, fantastic, fantastic work. to see these teams. Fantastic match. The interaction, the way they're just slowly building these people up against each other. Great stuff. I can't really say anything else. It was great seeing these teams. I look forward to seeing how they're going to build this around, with the Elite and the FTR, and how other teams are going to come into play, because you still have Best Friends who are currently scheduled for a title match going into Fyter Fest. You got a title match coming up next week, so how's it all going to play out? I guess we're going to find out. Interview with the Natural Nightmares. Dasha was back there. Says that they have a title match next week, and, asked them, what's their thoughts on it. Brandy says she wants to know why Allie is there, and I'm curious myself why Allie is there. QT says, well, of course, because she's my girl. Why is she wearing her family colors? Blah, blah, blah. So, Brandy having problems with Allie. Okay. Then Dustin's telling, QT Marshall, next week, it's a big opportunity. He's been a tag team champion for. He needs his partner, wants his partner next week, and says that Allie is not coming to ringside. Okay, now I don't watch Dark. To be fair, I don't watch Dark. So if, by some chance, they actually do team up on Dark, somebody let me know, because I don't watch Dark, and I'm at a loss as to why Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, who I've never seen team together, are now in a tag team title match. Just like Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc were put into a match last week because they teamed once, and now they're in a title match. What is the point of the rankings if you're just going to give random teams title opportunities? Like Dustin and QT Marshall, who barely wins at all, tag teams are, I mean, yes, they did have a match on Dynamite at random points. Okay, yes, that's happened, but were they ever officially announced a team? I'm just saying that doesn't make sense to me. So if someone could explain to me how all of a sudden they are in title contention, okay, sure, okay, I'll just leave it at that. It does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. So we get Penelope Ford and Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. Of course, we saw this match just before Double or Nothing, except instead of Penelope Ford, we had Dr. Britt Baker, of course, who's got a knee injury. So we have seen this match before. Not much to this match. It was a good women's match, but I couldn't find myself getting into it. It just never, for me, really picked up till the end. But the match was okay. So right before we went to commercial break during this, Shida hits this nice big running knee in Nyla Rose into the corner. Goes for it again. Nyla moves. Nyla then is able to take control of Statlander and work her over. Like I said, nothing really happened till the end of the match. So you get a nice big dive off the top rope by Nyla Rose, who she takes out everybody. Penelope Ford gets pulled down off the apron by Chris Statlander. You get a running knee by Shida, who does knock Nyla out of the ring. Shida then hits a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count on Penelope Ford. She goes for another running knee. Kip Sabian grabs Shida's foot, giving her just enough time to be distracted. Chris Statlander, though, hits a suicide dive to the outside onto Kip Sabian. You get Penelope Ford hitting Shida with the belt, tossing it to the outside, hits her with the fisherman suplex for the 3 count. Penelope Ford and Nyla Rose win the match. Like I said, it was okay. It wasn't a bad match by any stretch of the imagination. I've seen this before, and I understand times being what they are. You work with what you have, but could they do anything different? I just feel like AEW's women's division is really being restricted, and I know there's going to be a title match. I don't want to see Nyla Rose versus Shida again. If that's the route they're going, I don't want to see it, and I think that's what they're building towards. Maybe, though, with Penelope Ford winning this, we get Penelope Ford versus Shida. I think it'd be an okay match. Not everyone thinks she's as good of a wrestler as I do. I will also say her boots were on point tonight. Shout out to you, Sidekick Susie. So I said we did some nice little promos, right? Some nice little promos to kind of promote everybody who wasn't active in the show and people who aren't there, i.e. Darby Allin, who is talking about not being cleared, not being able to compete, and then the camera pans, and there's fucking Tony Hawk. Okay, AEW's got Tony Hawk on it. Mike Tyson, now Tony Hawk. Like, this show is legit doing well. He says, hey, you're free and clear here. Go ahead and ride, man. So we get this, I don't know. You're seeing, gosh dang it, my hair is freaking, okay, that's better. Darby Allin just constantly he sets up the ladder and he's trying to ride down the ladder on his board, but he just keeps falling. It's real nasty falls. But keeps going, keeps getting back up, finally managing to do it, and he high fives Tony Hawk, and that is the end of that. Then we get this. I understand what they were doing here, trying to say, hey, Darby Allin, no matter how many times he'll fall, no matter how much you'll knock him down, dude's getting back up. I am loving Darby Allin, and I still see him being a huge, huge player. So a promo for Britt Baker follows this, and it's more about her being a role model, and people need respect, and her working hard to get back. And I love the fact that even though she's injured, she's still on television in some manner, and how long they'll keep this up, I don't know. But you get her little buddy, and sorry, excuse me for not remembering her name. When you see her, like, it looks like she's on a football field, getting ready to practice, probably in Jacksonville at the facility. She's trying to roll her wheelchair, and she's got like a 10-pound weight, and she can't seem to move. And her friend picks it up, and then she starts rolling and rolling. She keeps looking at the camera like, it was funny. Keep giving me more of this with Britt Baker. I swear, it's freaking awesome. We get a trios match with the Inner Circle, Santana and Ortiz, and Jake Hager taking on the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Inner Circle right out the gate go and attack them. Hager, of course, slamming Cassidy on the stage. Cassidy out of the match for a while. Inner Circle wears down Trent. A blind tag by Trent to Chuck. Nice German by Trent. A plancha to the outside by Chuck onto everybody. Hager takes control, works over Chuck. Chuck, though, does fight back out of the corner. Attacks Trent. Trent, though, does end up getting caught by Hager and is dropped neck first, of course, onto the ropes. Nice Northern Light suplex on the outside by Ortiz. A big swinging DDT by Trent onto Ortiz. A hot tag to Orange Cassidy, who then kicks Jake Hager with the weakest kicks in the world. He ends up getting tossed, but then starts just rolling around. Does this little hand thing where he's evading everybody. I love watching it. It's funny. Hits some dives, a big DDT to Santana for a 2 count. Hager, though, hits a big belly-to-belly to him, gets a 2 count. That gets broke up by... My Google's starting to do stuff. That gets broke up by the Best Friends. Then this nice little move, Santana Ortiz set up like you do a Swanton Bomb, but it ends up being a massive cannonball in the corner. That gets a 2 count. Then we get towards the end of the match. Chuck actually shoves Santana off the top rope, breaking up a street sweeper. You get a roll-up crucifix by Orange Cassidy onto Ortiz for the 3 count. Of course, Best Friends and Orange Cassidy win this match. As soon as the match is over, Chris Jericho runs up to the ringside area, uses his bat. They take out Trent, take out Chucky, end up hitting Orange Cassidy in the head, I think, busting him open. He's being held by everybody. Jericho brings out a big, 20-pound bag of blood oranges, ends up whacking twice Orange Cassidy in the head with this freaking bag, and then goes on the record saying that Blood Orange Cassidy has now been juiced. Jericho's fucking great. I'm going to get copyright strikes, whatever. Jericho's great. I love this. It was great. I liked the bit at the end with them using the blood oranges like an omen. Oh, this is what happens when you cross us. Don't think we forget. The match was great. Good trios matches. I liked it. It leaves you wondering where the best friends are going to go from here. It's because, they're scheduled for this title match. Next week, they're going to have a match with the La Sex Gods of Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. Of course, Inner Circle will be out there. So they have that match next week where they're actually going to put up their title opportunity at Fyter Fest, so we could get the La Sex Gods replacing the Best Friends. I would hate that because I was looking forward to seeing the Best Friends versus them. But if you are going to do the potential turn of Adam Page, makes sense. MJF interrupts a interview with the Gun Club, which is Billy and his son Austin and his other son, who I don't know his name, who were sitting at ringside, says that he's been overlooked. Goes over his accomplishments, talks about the diamond ring, the dynamite ring that he has, talks about how he's been the number one contender for not one, not two, but 3 straight weeks and he's yet to receive a title match, and that he's seen the favoritism. Billy ends up interjecting himself. MJF tells him to go ahead, shut up, and hire more of his worthless, talentless sons. He shoves Austin. Billy grabs him. Wardlow steps in between. MJF. What can I say? MJF on the microphone is good. Every time you listen to him talk, MJF is fantastic on the mic. This is setting up a match with Billy and Austin versus MJF and Wardlow. I believe that's next week. I believe it was those guys. So that's another match being set up for next week. Billy, even at his age, is really good. His son Austin actually isn't that bad, what little I have seen of him. So, good little segment. Good to get MJF on TV without him actually having to do anything. I like it. Highlights of the Dark Order's attempts to recruit Mr. Colt Boom Boom Cabana. We get some highlights of that. Then we get a freaking really good match with 26-year-old Sammy Guevara and 40-year-old Colt Cabana. The story of this is Colt starting to lose his confidence, because he had a little bit of a winning streak, and now he's kind of lost a few matches. Dark Order coming around trying to recruit him. Where's his head at? What's he thinking? That was the story as narrated by our commentary team for this match. Colt Cabana, though, comes out dancing around, just being his happy-go-lucky self. You get an exchange of middle fingers. Sammy Guevara flips him off. Colt flips him off. And then you get the double bird by Sammy, who gets put into a side headlock. You get a leapfrog by Sammy Guevara. Colt's behind him. He gives him a big chop. Hits him with the second chop, and then starts working over the arm. Huge tope over the top rope by Sammy Guevara. They go to commercial break. Of course, he keeps working over Colt. Just kind of working him, seeing what he can do. Sammy, though, does start to run the ropes. And this was funny. He's running the ropes. You think he's about to hit this huge move. And he just puts him in a rear chin lock. Okay. That go does get countered into a roll-up for a 2 count. Sammy wears down Colt some more. Colt, though, does start to fight back out of a side headlock. Sammy then gets him up in a squat position and starts squatting him. Colt gets out of that, hits him with an elbow on the forehead. Flurry of offense by Colt Cabana, a bionic elbow. A big splash out of the corner for only a 2 count. Then Cabana throws Sammy Guevara off the top rope. Goes for a big moonsault, gets a 2 count. Both men, of course, fighting on the middle ropes. Cabana going for the Skyliner, ends up falling off. He slips. Then you get a GTH by Sammy Guevara for the 3 count and the win. Immediately after the match, Dark Order, they come out. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson have returned. Brody Lee then follows out behind them. The entire Dark Order completely reassembled. They come out. He helps Colt Cabana up, and he leads. Then he leaves. Colt Cabana, though, does follow them out the same tunnel that they exited as well. Sammy Guevara then says, "Yeah, that's right. Get out of here." Demands that his music's played, so they play it. And then out comes Matt Hardy. Not broken, not whatever. Matt Hardy comes out. says that he wanted to come out to let Sammy know that he respects him, that he sees a lot of a young Matt Hardy, a lot of a young Hardy boy in him, and says that he has the potential to do anything in this business and be big time. But he says that in order for him to reach his full potential, that he needs to leave Chris Jericho, and he tells him to trust him. Sammy then mouths him off. Matt Hardy then reverts into Matt Hardy version 1, spouting off some Matt facts, says that, if he had his Mattitude, he'd be able to do this. Sammy talks more crap. He switches over into the broken Matt Hardy, who Matt Hardy then enters the ring, says that he needs to enter this ring, that this moment must be documented. Yes! It says that he will eat him. He will eat him. And then starts chanting delete, and Sammy runs. Calls him crazy. So I don't know if you're crazy, stupid, psycho, I don't know. Like I said, the match was great. Afterwards, Matt Hardy coming out, the whole thing, like them able to tie all these stories together into this in a match. Brilliant work by AEW, being able to put all this together. I'm interested in seeing where they're going with Sammy. I'm just going to get Matt versus Sammy at probably Fyter Fest. It's just going to be 2 nights. Plenty of time to build up plenty of matches. And then to this, I've had really no concern for the Dark Order. Brody Lee coming in as the Exalted One, cool, but it never really felt like the Dark Order was really being put together yet. But now they're all back together. I like what they're doing. Is Colt Cabana going to join them? I don't know. We'll see here in a little bit. Then we get this odd promo. Joey Janela promo, asking what happened. He came to AEW to become a star, in the main events with Jon Moxley. Now he's just nothing doing anything. Thinks his best moments are behind him, and of course, he turns and it goes from focusing on him to focusing in from the foreground to the background. And you see a moment where he literally did like this pile driver off of a building down. It was a crazy spot. Go look it up on YouTube. Joey Janela off a roof. And then Sonny Kiss shows up in a real beautiful looking car and asks him if he needs a ride. He said, yep, been drinking. And they drive off and it says to be continued. So are they repackaging Joey Janela? Is him and Sonny Kiss going to become a thing? Like a team or something? I don't know. I'm interested. Again, it's just a little thing, but it gets Joey Janela, circulating, gets his name back out there. And it's building intrigue to see what Joey Janela is doing. So, we're back to Colt Cabana. You see him walking backstage, Dasha trying to interview him, asking him if his loss with this, what happened with Sammy, is what leading him to this. And he just looks, he doesn't really say much, and he goes into the Dark Order's locker room, and that's where it ends. I look forward to it. I really do. Of course, then we get some more matches announced for next week's, the Gun Club against Wardlow and MJF. The tag team title match next week with the Natural Nightmares and Paige and Omega. That's announced next week. I still don't understand why. The Sex Gods versus the Best Friends. All that's announced for next week's show. So Dynamite already looking great for next week. So then we finally get the altercation between Jon Moxley and Brian Cage. All I will say about this, I'll go over, what I was able to catch in my notes as far as what was said, but Moxley showed such intensity here. And I know it's been a year plus, right? But in this year, where a lot of people probably thought that the Dean Ambrose character, Jonathan Good, and the way that he was tore down in WWE and made to look like a joke, inject me because fans, germs, blah. To see him where he was then, where he is now, the intensity that he had tonight was like, fuck, man. Huge intensity. Says he's in a bad mood. He's tired of Taz talking, tired of people talking about him. Goes on to say that he's pissed that Brian Cage thinks he can beat him. He's pissed off that Taz thinks that Brian Cage can beat him, that he's pissed off. He says, with all due respect, Taz is the best trash talker ever. Taz comes out yelling, tells Moxley what's wrong with him, says he needs to get his head right, that Brian Cage is coming to take his title. Brian Cage, though, then comes running from behind, attacking Moxley, tossing him into the guardrail, slamming him, tosses him into a car window. It cracked. He's getting ready to set him up for, I believe, was going to be a powerbomb, maybe even the drill claw. Taz says, no, that's enough. We've sent our point. Cage starts to walk away, grabs him, picks him up, throws him into the back of that car, cracking the window, further injuring the neck of Jon Moxley. Simple, not a lot to it, not a lot of words. These two just went at it. You really are starting to believe this guy could beat Jon Moxley. It's possible. I actually believe it could happen. So I would say this will probably be the main event of the second night of Fyter Fest. I believe it's on the 10th. I forgot the dates for Fyter Fest, but I'm looking forward to it for sure. Then we get a nice promo package for the TNT title matches, more about Cody and why he's doing this, how people doubt his ability in the ring, being able to go bell to bell. And then you talk about Mark Quinn and how he was hurt and how he's coming into this as an underdog. And it was a great little promo package. A great promo package for what, not as good as last week's match between Jungle Boy and Cody. But my God, if tonight was not a star-making moment for Mark Quinn. I will not lie. I will profess the truth. I do not know a lot about Private Party outside of what I've seen them in AEW, and up to this point, truthfully, AEW hasn't really done a whole lot. I mean, that's not a lie. But this match, man, the story that they progressed, starting off with the wrestling, Mark Quinn's not a wrestler, so Cody's trying to wrestle him. Cody's trying to work him over, and he does for the good portion, start of this match. They're feeling each other out. Cody's working over Mark Quinn, applies some submissions. Cody on the outside, some more offense put onto Mark Quinn. They get back into the ring. Mark Quinn finally starts to get a little bit of offense in. He goes for a springboard, but his ankle kind of gets out, so Cody then starts to work over. Oh my gosh. Here comes Susie with sandwiches, coffee, and tea. Good thing is this is almost over. Oh wow, I'm just busy. Yeah, I was wondering what she was doing. I mean, it. I definitely would. I just thought we should have snacks and a movie when you were done. That sounds fantastic to me. So, I'll finish this then. So yeah, Cody starts working over Mark Quinn's ankle some more. Cody, of course, working the the leg and the ankle, wrapping around the ring post. Finally, Mark Quinn, he's fighting back, but Cody just keeps going back to that ankle. So good old school offense. What I like about Cody, he's very old school in the way he works a match. They're both on top. Cody goes for a belly to back suplex. That is countered. Both men are down. Finally, as Mark Quinn starts building up some offense, the match really starts picking up the pace. A neck breaker attempt by Cody, which gets reversed into this freaking crazy looking DDT. Then a dive and a plancha by Mark Quinn to the outside. A cutter attempt by Cody, blocked. Cody, that then is then followed by a corkscrew to the outside. Mark Quinn, though, Mark Quinn, though, goes up top. Cody rolls to the outside. A 450 splash to the ramp by Mark Quinn to Cody Rhodes. Match ends with a shooting star attempt. That gets countered. Cody moving out of the way. Mark Quinn hitting the mat. He puts him into an ankle lock. Then Cody grapevines that. Then Mark Quinn ends up having to tap. He's got no choice. Beautiful, beautiful match. Like I said, not as good as the match last week with Jungle Boy, but this match was This was fantastic, man. A fantastic match. Again, star-making performance. After the match is over, Cody helps Mark Quinn up. They embrace. You have a show of respect. Cody's in his ear, giving him words of encouragement. He goes back to the back. Then Jake Hager comes out. He's walking to the ring, grabs Arn Anderson. Cody goes after him. Hager then takes down Cody. Private Party and Matt Hardy come out. They help, run off Hager. Inner Circle comes out. Everyone starts to brawl. Finally, they split off. Right before they go to the end of the show, Cody says, "Hey, Hager, I know what you want. You, me, TNT title. At Fighter, you're on." So we now have a match at Fyter Fest with Jake Hager versus Cody Rhodes. I can't wait. That's going to be a good match. The old school mentality of Cody Rhodes versus the amateur acumen and the brute strength of Jake Hager at Fyter Fest. Like, this card is not even a pay-per-view, but it's pay-per-view worthy. And it's going to be fantastic. And it's 2 nights in 2 weeks. I cannot wait. It's going to be great. So again, not the best episode of Dynamite.
We should make plans.
We should. It's a 2-night thing.
That's kind of what we do.
It is a thing. We just make plans.
We should make dinner 2 nights in a row, 2 different things.
Yeah, it'll be 2 Wednesdays in a row. 2 Wednesdays in a row.
2 different things.
Sure.
Ooh.
Was it night 1 and a night 2?
I feel a taco night.
Ooh, taco night. Not Tuesday night, but Wednesday night taco. Yes. And it'll be Dynamite afterwards. So yeah, that was Dynamite, though. Not as good as last week, but this one was still a really, really good show. Cody versus Mark Quinn being a highlight. MJF always is a highlight. I love the interactions with the mic work of Taz and Moxley is great. I'm so interested in seeing what FTR and the Young Bucks and how Paige and Omega are going to factor in. All of it is great. Not sure why the Natural Nightmares are getting a title match, but I digress. I'll let it go. So that's my thoughts. That's what I think about this show. Honestly, I want to thank every single one of you guys for joining me. Again, thank you all for the patience that you all have showed me. Things are getting back to normal, but just remember, the weekend of Father's Day, maybe there'll be a SmackDown review. I'll let you guys know a little closer. I won't be in town, so I'll let you guys know for sure. So thank you guys for coming back to the channel. This was your Dynamite review, and I'll talk to y'all later. Remember, join the nation.